Hello again. Going to go through our primary chord chart one more time here and look at how we can develop the key signatures from this again and even move into some other keys that we haven't seen yet before. So the first thing we want to know about primary chords is that they are the 1, 4, and 5. They're the three major chords in every key. Those three chords harmonize every note in that scale. So we have a C in the key of C, count up 4 to the F. And to the fifth is G. C has the notes C, E, and G. The F chord has F, A, and C. And the G chord, G, B, and D. So if we went alphabetically, we'd have an A in the F chord, a B in the G chord, C's in the C and F chords, D in the G chord, E in the C chord, F in the F chord or the G7, and G in C's and G's. So every note in our scale is harmonized by those three chords, which is why they're so often the only chords in the song. So we have C's, F's, G's, and C's. The relative minor is the A minor, the sixth chord. So if we count it from C, C, D, E, F, G is 5, A minor is 6. There it is right after the C, F, and G, and C. Then what we could do is we went to the next popular key, the G. It comes from the 5 of the key of C, the G, becomes our next key. The C, which was the 1 in the last key, comes over to this key as the 4. So in the key of G, we have G's, C's, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, and D is the 5. So when D is the 5, we go G, C, and D. And we know that every note of the scale is in those chords. So D has an A note, G a B note, C and D7 have the C note, the G and D chords have the D note, the E note is in a C chord, D has an F sharp, and then we're on G. So we know that the key of G has F sharp notes. Also we have the relative minor, the E minor. So we have G's, E minors, C's, D's, and G's. D is the 5 in the key of G. It becomes our next key. So we can go to D, G becomes the 4, and you add 1 to that. A whole step away from it is the A. The 4 and 5 are a whole step apart. If we harmonized everything from there, we'd see that we have A's in the D and A chord, B's in the G chord, C sharp is in the A chord, and E is in the A chord as well, D is in the D and G chord, F sharp in the D chord. So the key of D has two sharps, the F sharp in the D chord, the C sharp in the A chord. The relative minor is the B minor. So we get D's, E minors, G's, and A's. When A becomes the key, it has a C sharp note in it. Its 4 chord, the D chord, has an F sharp note in it. And its 5 chord, the E chord, has a G sharp note in it. So the key of A has 3 sharps. F sharps in the D, C sharps in the A, and G sharps in the E chord. Again, D's and E's are a whole step apart. So when we come this way, we bring a D note as the 4th in the next key. If we went the other way, that D note becomes the key. The A, which was the root, becomes the 5 in the new key. G becomes the old key. D becomes the 5. C goes to the previous key. G becomes the 5. So what we can see here is our next key up here that we've been avoiding. And we took a while to learn F chords at all. But now we see we could go to the key of F. C is the 5. Therefore we need a whole step here. The 4 will be a B, of course. F, G, A, B is 4, but it has to be a whole step away from C, so we get a B flat. The 6th chord is D minor. So F was the 4 chord in C. F becomes the key above it in this chart. C becomes the 5, and we need B flats as the 4. One of my favorite B flats to use is this little guy, a 1, a 3, and a 3 with an open string. This one works great at early stages of your playing. It works nicely, especially if we're going to play some D chords. So the D minor is the relative minor. You already know D minors because we've compared all our D chords. Ds, D7s, and D minors together. So we could actually start on that D minor, go to a B flat chord, to an F and a C. D minor, B flat, F, and C. We've been going to add sharps as we went. G had 1 sharp, D2, A3, E4, etc. Up here, if we go above the C, we've been removing our sharps from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. How do you get less than 1 sharp? You go to flats. So we add flats in the next keys, and it shows up on that 4th chord there because that 4th chord has to be a whole step below the 5. B's and C's are close together, so B flat is the chord 1 step below C. There are various B flats you can do. Just as our B minor could be built from this 3-finger chord to a 4-finger chord to a bar chord, we can do the same with B flat. We can have the 1, 3, and 3 on the top 3 strings and open 4th. Or we can include another 3rd fret. Or we can bar. So this is 1, 3, 3, and 1. That B flat, notice, looks just like an A chord. If we took our A and moved it up 1 fret, it'd be A sharp or B flat. The notes that were open in an A have to be 1st fret when that chord is moved up to B flat. The way this chart has worked, we can see then that B flat would be the key that precedes the key of F on it. It was the 4 in F, so it's the 1 in this key. F then becomes the 5, and the 4 chord has to be a whole step away from F, just as it was in the other keys. That's not E because E's and F's are 1 fret apart. It's E flat. So the key of F has B flat notes, 1 flat. The key of B flat has 2 flats, the B flat and E flat. So we've been working our way down, removing sharps until we get to C, which has no sharps. To get less than no sharps, we go to flats. B flat, the note right before C. E flat, the note right before F. Notice how this would work in reverse. If we took F and it became the 1 chord, it would go here, and we'd need a leading tone in F. The leading tone is the E note, which is 1 fret below F. So we have to raise E flat to E natural in the key of F. To get from the key of F to the key of C, the 5 becomes the 1. We need a leading tone. We need a B natural. So this 4th note, the B flat, becomes a B natural 1 fret away from C. And that's another way that we can use our primary chords to work out our key signatures and our theory. Just make sure that you're practicing all of these in groups of 3, and that whenever you learn a new chord, you put it in its key. So B flat isn't learned in isolation, it's learned with F's and C's. You can also include the relative minor, the D minor. Once you know B flats, you can learn E flats. B flat, E flat, and F. You already knew 2 of those, and you can do the relative minor, which we'll leave for another day. See you guys later.